So I have heard from so many people that they do not have the ability to keep any kind of plants alive. They have a black thumb, so to speak. They can't grow anything. They don't have the ability to grow anything. Well, if you are any kind of a person, you do have the ability to grow something. You can definitely grow your own food for sure. It's a very rare instance where everybody is the perfect gardener and has all of their plants healthy and never runs into a single problem at all. Life is going to catch up and it is going to get in the way, and events are going to happen and you are going to fall behind. And this happens to me on a regular basis. Case in point, I do not have perfectly healthy plants throughout my garden. We have been extremely busy for the past few weeks. Obviously, we're trying to stay on top of everything, but we have a lot going on. And in this particular instance, the grass and weeds have once again caught up to me. Being in Northeast Florida, that is a common problem. We have a lot of grass and we have a lot of weeds, and they like to grow very prolifically, and they do like to take over, especially if you are cultivating healthy soil. So what I have to do today is I have to go in here and I have to try to cut grass that has come in and just overgrown the base of my tomato plants. Tomatoes really like a lot of airflow, and they have acquired a bunch of yellow leaves. Now, it may not just be the grass that's causing my issue, but it is one thing that I know I have to address so that I don't lose my plants. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna show you that not everybody, even people who have been doing it for years and years and years, we've always had a small garden. We have been doing the gardening on a larger scale since 2018, where we started rebuilding our soil. And I just want to show you that even people who have been doing it for a really long time are not perfect. Run into diseases, run into pests, run into weeds, they run into problems. And right now I have a problem, and I want to show you the real side of gardening. It's really easy to come in and say, oh, look at my beautiful plants, and look at this, look at these beans that are just growing so beautifully and filling the trellis. And it's really easy to show you the beautiful side of gardening. It's really easy to show you the harvest that you can get from it and how amazing it can be to come out with a beautiful basket of vegetables. But it's not always beautiful, and it's not always easy, and it's work. You have to work for it. You have to put in the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this around, and I'm gonna get to work trimming this grass around my poor tomato plants so that they can get more airflow. I'm gonna take off the diseased leaves, and then I'm gonna check at the base of all of them and see and then I'm gonna do a little bit of research and see what they may need in the soil to just help them kind of bounce back. So stick around with me because we're gonna do some garden cleanup today. So this is my row of cherry tomatoes. And as you can see, this first plant here has a bunch of yellow leaves, and the grass is very thick at the bases. I tried pulling some of the grass, and the roots are just very strong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with scissors, and I'm just going to cut the grass away from the base of these plants. Hopefully, this will be enough to help give the plant a little bit more airflow. So let's get started. We should have probably put down a weed barrier here to try to prevent this, being that this particular area of the garden had never really been planted previously, and we covered all of this with plastic, but we've just never grown anything here before. So we probably definitely should have put some weed barrier down just for this very reason, but we didn't. And this is a lesson learned. We have a lot of learning still to do. Nobody is perfect, and we are definitely still learning how to garden. There's a lot that we still need to understand, and that's good. There should never be a time where you think you know everything and everything is perfect in anything in life, and gardening is definitely one of them. I could come in here with like a weed eater, but I don't want to risk damaging my tomato plants. So this is just, well, it's not the funnest way to do it. It's going to take a while, but the only thing we could think to just do it without hurting the plant. Also, by cutting this down, this is all organic matter that will break down and put nutrients back into the soil. We are still in the soil rebuilding process. And one of the things that we're going to do is I am going to take some samples to our local extension office and have our soil tested. When we first started rebuilding, I know I've told this story before. We used to have horses, and eventually it broke everything down to sand. We had beautiful pasture grass, and then they just eventually over the years it just went completely down to sand and weeds. So we have been in the soil rebuilding process for quite some time, and this is also one of the battles that we're having to deal with. We've gotten the soil back up. It used to not register at all on the tester. Like, it would literally, the water would stay clear. There was nothing good in our soil. And now it actually registers. And that's good. What we have been trying to do in cultivating and growing our soil is working. Now what I'm going to do with this tomato plant is I'm going to take off all of these yellowed leaves. Poor girl had a lot of them. now that I have all of that removed and I'm looking at the base, I don't see any kind of damage. I don't see any mold. I really just think that they were getting choked out by the grass. And what I might do is I may come in with a weed barrier now and cut it to go around the tomato plants and just kind of slip it over down both of these rows to help choke out this grass and move forward. On a good note, look, our cherry tomatoes are starting to turn. These are the Sunrise Bee tomatoes from Baker's Creek, and these are the black cherry tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and move down this whole row, trimming and cutting away the grass. Interestingly enough, there's nothing wrong at the base of the plant. So I definitely truly feel that it is an airflow issue and maybe the grass competing for the nutrients in the soil. I am by no means done working in this garden. But I do want to show you the only plant in here that really has an issue at the base is the one that is doing the worst. And if we come down here, you can see there is a mold here on the base of this tomato plant. So, I am going to need to research what to do about that because that's not something that I have ever ran into before. Okay. So anyway, I have this whole row to still do. Excuse me. And we still have a lot of work to do around the base of these tomatoes, but it's definitely looking much better already. I could feel the air flowing through there while I was sitting cutting. So I definitely know that it's gonna help. Whew, okay, so my overall point for my today's video, well, not for my today's video, sorry, is nobody's perfect. If you see these beautiful gardens with no disease, no pestilence, well, you know what? It's either because, one, they're truly on top of it, or two, they are sectioning out what they're showing you to show you just the very prettiest of what they are growing. Because I'm telling you right now, there is no way on God's green earth that they never run into any problems, disease, or pests. So my point is, anything worth having is worth working for. It's going to be hard work. You're going to have to get your hands dirty. But the reward is so amazing and delicious. You put in all of the hard work and you get a reward. I know that I could go buy a container of mixed cherry tomatoes from the supermarket. I know that. But I don't know what they were grown in. I don't know what they were fertilized with. I don't know what seeds they used. And then the flavor, there's no comparison. There's more flavor in this little tiny tomato, sweetness and juiciness and amazingness, than there is in a whole container of store-bought ones. Put in the effort. Do the work. You can do it. You can grow. It's not going to be easy. You will run into problems, but I guarantee you, even if you just got one small harvest off of your plants, or you were only able to get your green beans to produce, you will feel amazing about it, and you will be willing and excited to plant in the next round. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys, while I worked on cleaning up one row of my tomato plants. I won't keep you any longer. I have exciting announcements coming up. We've been invited to a festival. I will put more of that on my next video. We'll do a bee update. Hopefully there's some honey. We're gonna be at a local blueberry stand here, supporting local agriculture. Get out there, buy from local farmers. Community supported agriculture. Get out there, buy from your local farmers. Help support them, because they're the ones that are growing it organically. Even if they can't get certified, they are still doing it organically, and it's better for you, and it's better for your community, and it's better just in the overall long run. So support your local farmers. Get out there. We will be at Nana's Blueberry Farm in June. We will be at the Raw Music Festival in September. So stick around. Welcome to all of my new subscribers. In case you didn't catch it, my name is Kaya, and we are a small backyard homestead on about, well, we have 4 acres. We're only utilizing a little bit of it because we're trying to also build a food forest. So we're working on a food forest, we're growing our own food, and we keep bees. We hope to eventually be a small market farm. We're just not there yet, but we're not giving up. We're gonna keep working towards it. So thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you on the next video. Thank you to all my new subscribers, and go get dirty.